Hello, welcome to the Citrus Garden. If you're new here, my name is Christina. This is a reading for Aquarius moons, or if you just have significant Aquarius placements and are needing a feminine energy to work with or balance within yourself, then this reading is for you. So Aquarius, I pulled your cards. We're going to start off with the overall context of the reading. So I'm going to start here. We have the Emperor, the Empress, and the Three of Pentacles. So this is kind of just like almost feels like a side note or like a footnote, but I'm starting with it because it's kind of like saying, Aquarius, that you have support and like almost like a team that is supporting you in whatever this situation is. With the Three of Pentacles, it's been talking to me about collaboration, that like I actually feel like that there's almost like perhaps there's like a mother or father figure, right? Like parents who are supporting you or something like that. Because you do have the father card that came out in the Archetypes as well. But if it's not that, it could be more like guides, right? Or just like energies. It could be something like the divine feminine, divine masculine energies that are collaborating with you on whatever this message is talking about. So I'm just going to leave that there. If that comes up again, I will mention it. But so with the Archetypes, you have here Father and Kairos, and you also have the Discipline and Time, which is the same energy, right? Like this Kairos card I always talk about as being like cycles of time. There could be some aspect of divine timing as well. And because it's coming out with the Father card, the Emperor, and Discipline energy, I feel like there's something about Aquarius. It's almost like you're being encouraged to almost like be really in tune with the divine timing of whatever it is that this situation is. Because I feel like for you, there's this energy of like wanting to act with this wildness, but it's kind of like right now, it's not quite the right timing because there's some other aspect that is needing to be like, it's just something else is needing to happen before you act on this. And if I will get into what that energy is. And in the meantime, especially because it's like something with discipline and the Father, I feel like there's something within this situation right now, almost like while you're waiting for there to be something within your energy that could be cleared or dealt with, so that when the timing is right, the experience or whatever it is will be the most harmonious, or like the most like the best outcome that you could expect from that. And so I'm going to come back to this water card because I feel like this water card I always talk about as being like the water is draining. The water is draining. So with this wildness electricity, I feel like it's like you're wanting to act, but it's almost like the Emperor is telling you to wait because you have to wait till this water drains first. Otherwise, there's going to be a negative sort of reaction. I feel like that's what that's saying. And so you also have here the comic and the siren, which is really interesting because this comic is talking about almost like it's been shifting. It's like almost putting like a very domesticated version of the Strength card, which I feel like is talking about with the siren. There's something almost like urgent that's needing to be shared is kind of how it's feeling. But for you, Aquarius, it's almost like trying to put like a filter of levity perhaps on it so that it doesn't alarm or that it doesn't startle or come off as being like a negative reaction. I hope that makes sense. Okay. Okay. So anyways, I'm going to leave these ones here because there's just a lot there that I feel like is going to get worked out through whatever the actual reading. Okay. And then we have here the Starborn and the Gnosis, which is some sort of, I feel like this is some sort of like awakening energy. Is it just how I'm going to leave it? Okay, so your current energy, like what's wanting to be talked about in this reading, the first card to come out was the Sustainer, which is all of that like holding steady energy. I feel like you Aquarius are holding steady, not acting, trying to maintain an energy of balance, which is interesting because yesterday the Libra reading was about talking about like, it's not about balance, it's about like delivering a verdict or picking a side. I feel like Aquarius, you have made some sort of decision, but now it's like, once that decision is made, now you have to balance. Now you have to stay still is kind of how this is feeling. But I was really drawn to, in the Sustainer card, the two stars, or the two, there's like something on either side of this. Like, this is the energy that's being balanced. And what's on either side of it is like the first two cards that come out were the One card and the Tier. So the Tier I always talk about as being separation. The One card is the opposite of that, right? So there's these are the two things that I feel like you Aquarius are holding steady. You're not leaning on either side of these two things yet, but I feel like there will be a time, not now, where there will need to be some sort of shift or actually like going towards one of these two options, right? But in the meantime, I feel like there's something that is wanting to be cleared or wanting to like come together, right? There's some sort of like misunderstanding, I want to say, within your energy about what the outcome is going to be, is kind of how this is feeling like. So you also had here the shadow and the cave, which is so interesting because it's bringing in all of that energy of like Plato's cave, where there's shadows on the wall, right? The Matrix, all of that. And I feel like this is you, Aquarius, not speaking, right? There's like an energy of pause or holding steady, because bringing in that whole energy of the Plato's cave, I feel like you're the one who stepped out of the cave, right? Like you're the one who saw the light, who has some sort of knowledge or understanding, some sort of truth that you have become aware of. But I feel like it's like you're not acting, you're almost like outside of the cave because of the shadow. And it could be some aspect of your shadow, right? There's something there about like, perhaps there's something misunderstood about your role in all of this. And also in terms of like the shadow, just in terms of like the ones who are still in the cave, there's something there about like, I feel like you Aquarius are anticipating that there will be some sort of like negative reaction. Like if you just think of like in the Matrix, right? The one character, his name's Cypher, who even after he saw the light, even after he was awakened, he wanted to go back into the cave, right? He wanted to go back into the illusion. And because of that, there was all of that sort of like betrayal energy. So I feel like there's something here, Aquarius, where it's almost like you're focusing in on some sort of shadow aspect within this situation where it's like you're not making a movement, which I feel like is the right thing, right? Like it shouldn't, if you act right now with this energy present, it's going to have a negative outcome. So it's kind of like you need to clear this energy first before you step back into the cave, so that whatever it is that you're anticipating is the best outcome. And that's what will happen. If you go in anticipating the worst, then the worst will happen, is kind of what this is saying. So anyways, so I'm gonna go through the next cards, which is, you have here the Beginning East and the Depth Lake. So this is what this Depth Lake, whenever this card comes out with the, this water creation card, it's like, this is where the water level is now. And it could be within your own subconscious. It could also be within the others who you're trying to or wanting to share this information with. It's like right now the water level is still really high. You have to wait until it drains all the way. And I feel like that's that's where the sustainer energy is coming in. It's like holding you steady so that you don't preemptively act before the water level has drained, whatever that means metaphorically. But it's like, in the meantime, you have this access to some sort of information or light or knowledge. I always see this as like getting the solution, right? It's like you have the solution to something, or well, it's interesting because it's also coming out with the completion. So it's the beginning and the end, right? It's some sort of like I've no idea. It just feels incredibly important. You have information about the beginning and the end, which is so interesting. I have no idea. Anyways, but it's like, whatever this information is, there's this card, the inner core solidity, that whatever this information is, it's going to shatter some aspect of solidity, something that's very solid, something that is very established or long-standing. So it could be like a really I don't know, but with the dove, I feel like you know what it is, Aquarius. Like, whatever knowledge that you're holding within yourself, you know what this information is, and it's like you're not sharing it because you know that it's going to cause this. Absolutely, it is going to cause some sort of ending, but I feel like right now you're too focused on the negative outcomes, the potential negative outcomes of what this information or message might cause, instead of focusing in on like the potentially positive and beneficial outcomes that this message will have, right? So anyways, all of these cards are emphasizing just what I just said, right? The Knight of Swords and the Ace of Swords, right? This is you with the knowledge, with the truth, with the message that you are almost being like asked to share. And I just heard like, it's like you're like, don't kill the messenger, right? It's like, I feel like you're anticipating that you as the messenger will be, I don't know, blamed or attacked, or do you know what I mean? Like, there's something about like hesitating because whatever this message is potentially may have consequences or difficulty or whatever it is. And it's like, I feel like that's what's wanting to be cleared within this message today. It's like, that's the energy that needs to be released. But of course, with the Knight of Swords, it always talks about like, it's very fast moving, and sometimes in the reverse, it can talk about like not being too hasty, right? Like trying not to act in a way that's impulsive. But impulsivity usually comes in with the Knight of Wands, which is not in your spread today. So I feel like you're not being impulsive, Aquarius. It's not something where you're acting on passion or acting on fire. It's not a fiery energy. It's a very sort of like swords, straight to the point, very direct. Okay, anyways, but then you have the Sun, right? It's like, so you're, whatever this message is, it's the Sun. It's bringing clarity. It's bringing light. It's bringing understanding. It's bringing life force. All of this positivity, right? It could be like giving people a new start. It's both the beginning and the end of something. But then right after the Sun, you have the Death card, which is so interesting because like there's so much similarity between these two cards where it's kind of like your message perhaps has the potential to have one of these two outcomes, but I feel like it's both. It's like it is absolutely going to start some sort of process of an ending of something, right? Like the Death card, I feel like has also a negative connotation just because in our society we are so afraid of endings, right? Just generally, that change is very difficult for most people, and I feel like that's sort of the energy that you're anticipating, is that you have a message of hope, is what I was getting. It feels like a message of hope, but the reaction that you're anticipating is a message, or is the reception of fear, because it's bringing in change. Your message is bringing in change, right? It's a message of change and hope, but there is an energy of fear surrounding that, because the next two cards to come out, I feel like this is what's wanting to be cleared. If you notice here, there's like this Hierophant figure, right? The Hierophant figure who's protecting this family. And so the next two cards to come out were the Ten of Cups and the Hierophant, right? So it's like the Hierophant I've been talking about as very traditional, long-standing knowledge. So it's like institutions, the things that we believe in. I feel like it's more so talking about like belief systems, right? Rather than the actual structure. It's like what we believe as a society, what we consider to be like collective knowledge or societal knowledge, that kind of thing. That's how I interpret the Hierophant. So it's like your message, it is absolutely going to disrupt whatever this Hierophant, the traditional knowledge or something like that, right? It's a traditional knowledge that is coming to an end. And I feel like with the Ten of Cups here, it's saying that I feel like you, Aquarius, are not acting or anticipating the worst, because your perception of this energy is that they're happy here, that these ones want to be, they don't want change, they don't want new information. You're assuming that they don't want a shift from this Hierophant energy, when I feel like that's the thing that wants to be shifted and changed. Because what came out next was the Queen of Pentacles, which is still very earthy, right? It's still very earthy, still very solid, but the Queen of Pentacles is so much more receptive, right? Very receptive, very receiving. And I feel like that's what the energy is. It's like the Sun and the Queen of Pentacles are in alignment. That's an aligned energy. And I feel like here you're anticipating that whatever it is that you have to say or something like that, it's not going to be received well, is what this is talking about. That's perhaps like a fear or self-sabotaging energy within yourself. It's like, I don't want to disrupt this happy moment that this family's having, right? I don't want to be the reaper who brings in death, basically, an ending. I don't want to bring in an ending for this happy family kind of energy, right? That's what I feel like you are telling yourself, and that's what's been sort of holding you back, which I feel like is fine, because that's what's wanting to be cleared. There's something about like there's a misperception here or misunderstanding about this Ten of Cups, because it's actually coming through with the Three of Swords. It came out underneath like this, where it's actually like, yes, it brings in the heartbreak energy, but I feel like more importantly with this, right, the key piece of information is that there's swords that are crossed. So this energy, the difficulty, is actually a misunderstanding. It's like having like communication that is crossed, or there's something lost in translation perhaps that's causing this this fear perhaps, or anticipation of heartbreak or something like that. But it's like, when you come in with this information, Aquarius, it's like it clears everything up with the Ace of Swords. It's actually clarifying. It's and what's interesting here is that it's like, because I feel like with I might be wrong about this, but with the Three of Swords, oh, here, I have it. I don't know, here. Okay, here. If I just compare, because it actually came out twice, there's like rain, right? There's rain in the traditional Three of Swords, or like just like sadness or heartbreak or whatever it is. But what came out after the Three of Swords was this Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups, which is just overflowing love. So I feel like what this is talking about is that, yes, there's absolutely going to be some sort of ending. What you're ending is the Three of Swords. You're ending some sort of heartbreak or misunderstanding or confusion. It was coming through with today, actually. You're ending confusion, and what you're bringing into the situation is Ace of Cups, unconditional love. It's like, it's not like you're not the bringer of bad news. There's not going to be some sort of like killing of the messenger, but it's going to, like, there could actually be tears is kind of how it's feeling, but they're overflowing tears of love, not of heartbreak. Okay. And finally you have the Two of Cups, right? So it's like this Two of Cups came out under the Queen of Pentacles, which I feel like is talking about it's not going to be a separation energy, right? It's like there may be tears, yes. There may be an ending, yes. But that ending is almost like welcome. It's something that's going to be received really well or received very positively. And so it's kind of like encouraging you, Aquarius. Like, it's not time yet, perhaps. I feel like it's like that you do have support and collaboration, and like I feel like it's just like co-creating with the universe is kind of what that like beginning part of the Emperor Empress Three of Pentacles energy was. It's like the universe is supporting you in moving in this direction. It's not quite time yet. This in-between section where you're sort of staying steady is to help you to clear up this misaligned energy where it's like you're anticipating a negative response to whatever it is that you are needing to say. And when you actually say it, like just trying to like perhaps like train your mindset to be this, that whatever you're putting an end to, you're putting an end to Three of Swords. You're putting an end to heartbreak. You're putting an end to confusion, of misunderstanding. What you're bringing into the situation is actually unconditional love, Two of Cups, clarity, happiness, and celebration is kind of what this is feeling, right? It's not something else with the Death card that I've been talking about recently. In the show The Sandman, it's also a comic written by Neil Gaiman. He wrote the character of Death as being the most comforting, warmth energy that he could possibly find, because in a situation where there's a transition, Sorry, Aquarius, I got a little bit emotional holding up that Ace of Cups energy and the Death card. So I had to take a pause to collect myself. But what I was saying about the Death card before I was overtaken by emotion is that in the Sandman story, it's a comic and a TV show written by Neil Gaiman. Something that he was saying about the Death character in that show is that he wanted to create a Death character that was the most comforting and warm personality that he could find. Like the most like gentle, best friend, trusted sister kind of energy. Because as like in his experience, right? Like if you are having to go through a difficult transition, you would want somebody who's warm and comfortable, right? Who's the most trusted person to help you through that transition. And the whole idea of like the Reaper and like this sort of like bad omen, it's nothing like that. It's like, I feel like that's like a subconscious thing that needs to be cleared within our like a subconscious collective, perhaps. There's something like that. It could be within your own subconscious. Anyways, so it's like what it is that you're being asked to do, Aquarius, in this situation. It's like you have some sort of truth or ability to be the sun for somebody to help them through some sort of difficult transition. There may be tears. It may be difficult. But it's kind of like you are that warmth and comfort to help somebody through some sort of difficult transition. It's happening again. So I'm going to end the message there. I hope that was clear. The end kind of got a little messy, which I feel like is fine. Because, like, tears are not anything to be afraid of, right? It's like, that's how energy moves, right? Water is a conductor of energy. So it's releasing some sort of blockage that needed to be cleared. And I feel like that's what you're bringing, Aquarius. So I'm going to move to the extended. I'm going to talk about what's something else that you need to know about the situation. If you're interested in that, you can find the link in the description box below. You can also find information for personal readings if you're interested in one of those. Thank you so much for sharing your energy with me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.